Thursday, July 11th, 2013, at 7:07 at the Groton Senior Citizens, Classroom 1, 102, Newtown Road, Groton, Connecticut. Could I get a roll call for quorum purposes?
Alan Ackley,
Here.
Gary Bertman,
Here.
Nancy Beckwith here, Thomas Santakos, Randy Ackley,
Here.
Peter Legnos,
Here.
Deborah Montero,
Here.
Kenneth Richards,
Here.
Ron Uhas,
Here.
Todd Page,
He is here, he just,
He's here.
Kurt Floyd,
Absent.
Jimmy Mulek. Here. Mr. President, we have a quorum.
Thank you. This time, we have a moment of silence and salute to the flag, please. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I have a motion to approve the minutes of May 9th. Everyone has
So moved.
second. All those in favor? Opposed? You want that again, Nancy? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I abstain.
Okay. And the annual minutes from May 16th, 2013. I have a motion to accept those. Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Oh,
Abstain. I wasn't at the meeting, so.
one abstention. Okay. Remarks from visitors. Yes, sir.
Yes, I guess 2 or 3 months.
Excuse me, could you state your name and your address for the
Bill
for
Simpson,
the clerk?
305 Michelle Lane, apartment 309, Groton. I was given a notice about the problem with this fire department back in May and came to that meeting. And then I went to that election. And basically, I've been discouraged by this whole thing. I've thrown out all the paperwork. I just come here to have my last say. Maybe you should have your way. All your things, ripping out a perfectly good alarm system and go and volunteer, getting rid of the full-time firefighters, make it like a rule setting. But what you should do by law, because of building codes and everything, you got high-rise apartment buildings, you got the Marriott Hotel in this district, which is 6 stories, and you got several apartment complexes high-rise in this area. What you should have to do to go the way you want to go, the Ackley way, is you should have to condemn all these buildings, evict all the tenants, and raise the buildings and demolish them. That's what you should have to do to have the kind of fire system, protection system that you want. Otherwise, you're putting a lot of people's lives and safety in jeopardy. And that's all I got to say. I've had enough of this whole thing. It's nonsense.
Thank you. Mr. Perrell.
And one other thing, I wrote the state fire marshal of Connecticut about what's going on here after the election. I never heard anything. I also contacted Alyssa Wright, the state rep for this district. I wrote her on her website, and I left a message on her phone, and I never heard from her. So that's your representation, you people. That's what you got. and I hope to find a place far away to live.
You're a coward for leaving.
Huh?
Become part of the system. Don't be a coward. Don't leave. Sit right back down.
What can I do? They don't listen to me.
Ms. Carrillo, can I?
I said my piece, they're gonna have it that way, you know. I have an electrical license, and I trained in communication in the military. And you know,
Next.
Sir, Ms. Carrillo was recognized.
I'm answering this question.
Go away.
I never owned a liquor store, so I don't know how to run a fire department.
Go away.
My name is Cindy Burrell, I live on the St. Joseph Court.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Mr. Ackley. I would have loved to know what you promised all those people to get them to vote for you in your mystery budget. You sure know a lot of gullible people. Throwing out that 3.5 in mid-meeting was brilliant, although why people believed it was possible, I can't imagine. If you could come up with a feasible $3.5 million budget, why didn't you just do it in the first place and show us the numbers? You offered no support for that number other than presenting a measure allowing you to take out loans to cover the shortfall that's sure to happen. Our grandchildren won't thank you for that. If your plan comes to fruition and the taxpayers see the results of your personal agenda, they won't thank you either. I'm sure you can spin that to make it seem to be the fault of the firefighters and their families. Mr. Uhas tried to dismiss my comments by making a point stating that I am married to a Poquonnock Bridge firefighter at the last meeting. I'd like to address that. Interestingly, he should bring that up during the part of the meeting entitled Good of the Department, a section that very rarely gets any attention by this board. Until a few months ago, the only people who attended meetings to see what this committee was doing were the firefighters. I fault the taxpayers for not making themselves informed of the facts and then voting on the basis of whatever Mr. Ackley or other board members told them was happening. Yes, I'm married to a Poquonnock Bridge firefighter. If I wasn't, probably none of this would come across my radar, and I'd be just as guilty as the rest of the taxpayers who don't investigate before they vote. But that doesn't change any of the facts concerning the way this board is working to cripple our emergency services. I am here primarily as a taxpayer, and of course I would also like to pay less, but I'm a believer in the saying, you get what you pay for. With the election last month, the ratio of board members who want to destroy the fire district to new people looking for a rational compromise is still extremely skewed. I'm hoping that the process might be amended so the committee has to be more accountable to the tax-paying public. As it is, taxpayers with questions or concerns can't get satisfaction because the board won't answer any questions put to them. You're entrusted with a huge amount of tax money collected from us, and it's definitely our business what you do with it.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public? Yes, sir.
Hank Steinford, 32 Valley Road. I've resided there since 1962, so I've been in this district all that time, own my home. I'm very concerned that the direction you people are taking. Number one is not having a ladder truck within our district. It's down. Nothing's been done about it for almost 2 years. I want to remind you that that ladder truck is vital. We have these, and the gentleman mentioned the Mystic Marriott. We have another hotel that is, I believe, 5 stories here in the district. Number two is that ladder truck should be the first on the scene in case of a fire. And the reason of that is because the ladder truck needs to be put in and positioned before the other equipment can be put out. Now you're depending on the city of Groton to provide the ladder truck. I can tell you from experience, because I did have a fire about 1.5 years ago. And the last thing that come to my house was the city of Groton's fire, a ladder truck. Had it been a situation where someone is up in my upstairs, is undoubtedly been a disaster without that ladder truck on the scene first. Secondly, I'm concerned about the medical situations Again, we have many facilities of older people and nursing homes within this district. And how are you intending to actually serve these people in a timely fashion? Everybody knows not only the fire, but medically, minutes count. And I am very disturbed. I don't understand how you could literally cut the budget in half, ignore a bunch of debts, and then sit here and do nothing. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any other comment? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Joan Steinfort. I'm related to that gentleman, 32 Valley Road. Yes, we did have a fire. That was welcome New Year's Day. The truck from Poquonnock Bridge, we responded within less than minutes, I would almost say. It was the minimum number of minutes. They were right in front of our house. And chimney fire, I saw it ignite. I went outside to see where the stove in the fireplace. And it's all certified, everything a brand new stove the year before. That's frightening when you see flames there. It was done right. That's your response by this wonderful fire district. Mr. Chairman, I do not want to see what's business by reading the front lines, the front page of my daily newspaper, but thank goodness for them. And for the reporter who's again here, is getting a lot. Residents seek state's help with fire district. You better believe it. The direction going is not responsive. All of this being the major district in Groton, the town of Groton, the largest has the largest responsibilities. I think your directions is not at all concerned about fire safety and health. Remember, they respond very quickly to medical problems too. I won't belabor this and be long on describing it, but 2 doors from us, it was a stroke, very serious. Very serious. The ambulance took almost 15 minutes, the medical truck. Your truck was there and had the mask type of oxygen. The person already was in medical care and had the oxygen, but not with the mask. That helped her. The minute she was taken and arrived at L&M, it was a holiday weekend, a neurologist wasn't there. She was having a stroke. Time is of the essence with stroke. I've had successful. But anyway, we recuperated. A doctor from Yale was contacted, get Lifestar immediately and get her to us. That's what your fire truck did. It gave the oxygen that the person needed. 2 weeks later, there's your fire truck, and then in the house next to that. That person wasn't critically ill, but your truck responded. And I've seen the figures by the fire chief. They keep records of what type of response and you're very, very good on keeping records of what type of fire and the number of medical responses. It doesn't take them 10 to 15 minutes for that emergency care that they are capable to do as far as that goes. I was in a meeting last night, and why I say responsibility, it was just mentioned about a hotel. Are you aware that the Mystic Marriott is assessed at $18 million, and the taxes that pay on the floor of the RTM, of which I'm a member, was mentioned by one of our members because she got online during the meeting. We have the major hotels within this district. We have the high school, we have the most schools, we have the most elderly care, and the rate you're going is not the right response. It took many years to build up a truly fire professional district. A former fire chief, who is not longer with us, started this company on fully qualified and trained. Robert Burdick put the fire department on the right track. You're off the track. You're derailed. And I am very concerned because I never know within my household the need. And the night he had the heart attack, I foolishly drove him to Allenham because I knew I would be faster than the ambulance. Because at midnight, I slowed down in intersections in New London, but I got in there and no police was following me, and they would have followed me right to emergency. But I was bawled out by one of your firemen and said, don't you ever do that. He could have went into cardiac arrest, and that fireman was absolutely true. But waiting on the regular ambulance service we have now is not fast. And this is the only city in all of his naval career that we have lived in a city that the ambulance wasn't with the fire department. We lived in small towns and we lived in large towns. And we should be a better one district for firemen. That's
Thank you,
a
Mrs.
long
Snow.
way.
Thank
But
you.
I wish, and when are we going to have a budget, a temporary budget, a written one available, may I ask?
That's what we'll be working.
When is it going to be available to the members
That's up
of
to
your
this board.
district?
That's up to this board.
You've already gone 10 days without a proper budget.
Thank you.
From 1979 until 1993 when he passed away. I'm here because I'm distressed as well, and I know he is. I feel this is very sad that this is all happening, but my real reason for being here is because I felt that one of the things that's going on here is there was 70 years with the Poquonnock Ridge Fire Department. You celebrated or not. This is one hell of a celebration with 26. But Poquonnock Ridge has been here for 70 years, and I wanted to thank the firemen and the volunteers for their dedicated service to us for all 70 years, and I have a little presentation of a 4th of July kind of thing for the chief, because nobody seems to care that you guys have done this for 70 years, and I do. Thank you. I really appreciate having you on my watch. And I'm sure others who are not here and take for granted all you do would also echo that applause.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public? Yes, sir.
I'm Anthony Mancini, 51 Maple Drive. Is there...
Say that again.
Anthony Mancini, 51 Maple Drive. Is there any intentions on putting a new ladder truck in your quarters?
Well, this is public comment. This is not an answer session.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just, you're welcome to comment on anything. Thank you. Any other questions from the public? Comments from the public? In order to save time tonight, I requested the chief and everyone else to file tonight their reports rather than orally giving the reports. I guess we all have them. Everybody has a copy of your
Where
report?
did you get a copy? Because I have an extra.
I think this is mine.
You know, this one was filling out.
I did for the,
I got one.
I'd like to have a copy. That's it. I'd like to see what you're looking at.
Chief, do you have an extra copy for the lady then?
No, I don't. I only need enough for the board.
And it should be read aloud.
Yeah. We'd like to hear what you have to.
A little bit of transparency,
Pretty safe.
a little bit.
Well, you can have my copy, if that's what you want.
We'd all like a copy.
We all want to
Yes, sir.
have a copy. That's what we're here for.
Okay, moving on.
Will you read it aloud?
Here we go.
Now, we could go into executive session to discuss collective bargaining strategy now, or we can proceed. Any other directors?
Mr. President? Since the executive session was listed on the budget as down near the bottom, could we just go ahead and follow along so that we're not keeping people here?
Yeah.
Well, we could, except I think a number of these issues might come up, might have something to do with the strategy that's associated, but it's up to the director. What do you have?
We may have to defer some of the things, but we should be able to do most of them, I believe.
Okay.
Excuse me, Mr. Ackley, but could you either stand up and read that, or all of you speak a lot louder, because I'm down in the back and I can hardly hear you. Or you should have a microphone so it can be heard all over.
What would you like repeated, ma'am?
Excuse me?
What would you like repeated?
Read the report.
What you're going to read there. If you could stand up and read it so your voice will come out where we can hear you.
We don't have the report to read.
Well, whatever that woman just passed out and said to pass around to read.
I don't have it to pass out.
Where's my copy you said I could have? Could I have that?
Todd, can we generate a copy after the meeting for her?
No, I'd like to follow along.
There's nothing to follow along. He's given us these things for our use.
A matter of concern I have right now in that report.
Excuse me, the public comment session's over.
I'm not making a comment, I'm making a request.
This is our meeting, not yours.
It's the taxpayers' meeting.
This is our meeting, and we have to go forward in order to accomplish this business. So the public comment session has ended.
So why don't you just have in the back of your package store if you want a secret meeting? Instead of making everybody waste their time.
Todd, do you want to present that?
Well, I can read it.
Go ahead, yeah, just read it.
Go ahead and read it.
We can't hear
So that
you.
everybody can hear it. That's what, I think that's fair.
Huh?
Is the report of the fire chief, July 11, 2013. Alarms for the month of May, we had a total of 154 alarms, including 2 structure fires and 8 other fires. We didn't have a meeting in June, so some of the report includes the previous month. The month of June, we had a total of 174 alarms with 2 structure fires and 4 other fires. Training, the members trained on pumping operations and hazardous material incident procedures. Deputy Chief Floyd and Firefighter Earhart completed a voting safety class. Jamie Mulak, the administrative assistant, attended a seminar on healthcare changes. I attended a class on developing and sustaining regional collaboration, and I also attended a StatNet meeting, which is a best practice workshop. It's New England-wide. Myself and the deputy chief attended a class on improvised explosive devices and bomb prevention and awareness. For apparatus maintenance, Shipments Fire Equipment performed annual pump maintenance and testing on all 3 engines. Engine 33 had the door welded, the door latch welded in my town garage. The ladder truck, we received an unofficial offer from the manufacturer, Suckman Fire Apparatus, to purchase the truck for $10,000. requesting the board consider the offer and advise on how to proceed. I received a new replacement car, a 2013 Chevy Tahoe Hybrid, which was on it was purchased part of a grant from the state of Connecticut. The new Tahoe was delivered, and I'm in the process of arranging installation of lighting and radios, etc. The vehicle did have a transmission fluid leak and was repaired under warranty by Chevrolet. For buildings, the Long Hill Firehouse air conditioning, Dunkley Heating and Cooling completed installation of the rooftop air conditioning units at the Long Hill Station, and they seem to be working well. The application for the energy efficient rebate has been submitted and is expected soon. As the large AC units were completed, the AC unit serving the office space of the Long Hill Station had a compressor fail. It appeared required replacement at about $5,000 to $8,000. Deputy Chief Lloyd found that the unit was covered under an obscure warranty and has since had it replaced at no cost. The Long Hill Station emergency generator, the fire alarm system activated when the generator started for its weekly test due to incomplete combustion, and we discovered high carbon monoxide levels in the basement. We had the Northeast generator come out and service it. The Fort Hill Station air conditioning unit in the basement kitchen dining room area was leaking water through the ceiling. An obscure filter was discovered internal to the unit that required cleaning, and this caused the unit to freeze over, causing the water to leak. Operating budget. I feel it's the top priority for the board to implement an operating budget. I cannot run the department without an authorized operating budget to guide its spending plan. My spending rules for purchasing and repairs provide that any spending must be within budget. Lacking any direction from the board, I issued a department order that we will only fund essential services. I need to have guidance on how to allocate the funds, especially with regard to reduction in funding. I require some insight as to what the board intends to do to sustain the operation of the fire department. For fiscal year ending 2014 budget, the department cannot run on a budget amount of $3.5 million without jeopardizing public safety. The fiscal year 2013 budget for personnel costs alone was over $4 million. Such a large budget reduction will leave the department in violation of contractual obligations and expose the district to great risk of legal and financial liability. As of this meeting date, the district financial obligations and bills already received under the fiscal year 2014 budget are already $461,777. This figure does not include payroll costs. The collective bargaining agreement is a legal binding agreement with stipulations that prevents significant reductions in the personnel costs. In fact, the reduction in staffing will actually increase the firefighter's salary budget due to the increases in overtime. In 2012, the department averaged approximately 68% of the time with at least 6 firefighters on duty. The reduction in staffing will reduce the numbers of firefighters on duty, therefore reducing our capabilities. Based on actual figures from the last 2 years, I estimate that the department will have spent the entire $3.5 million by February or March. The district currently owes Groton Utilities $99,266.60 for fire hydrants, and that does not include what will be invoiced in the fiscal year ending 2014. Unemployment tax. I discovered that the district was not registered with the employer status unit of the Department of Labor for the purposes of unemployment tax. As a municipal entity, the district is permitted to choose to reimburse any unemployment benefits paid on a monthly basis. This saves the district from paying a quarterly payroll tax. The district is still obligated to provide quarterly reports on payroll. I contacted the employment status unit and submitted the registration as a reimbursable employee. It's state law, we're supposed to be registered. Fire alarm. We have pending fire alarm work involving mandatory marking of call before you dig locations as well as utility pole changes. Utility pole changes involve moving fire alarm wire over to new poles on Buddington Road. This circuit provides services a large area that impacts several businesses. This is routine work typical of that required to maintain the system. Absent budget, I need approval to perform this work. 2011 regional fire grant. We had to request from FEMA an amendment to the regional radio improvement grant. As much of the equipment is backward. FEMA granted the extension through December 31st. The department, the VIP detail, the department participated in a standby at the Groton London Airport for a visit to the Coast Guard.
Move it by a private contractor before we decide to take it down, if that's what the board agrees on. I mean, this board has to vote that as well.
What, do I have a second on that, please?
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is passed. Opposed? Motion is passed. Mill rate is 5.2. Second item of business, of new business, is the, Nancy, the transfer of $76,722.23 uncollected taxes to suspense tax book.
Yes.
What is
You want
that?
me to explain that?
Could.
Oh, Jamie can. Can you explain the transfer, uncollected taxes?
It's taxes that are believed to be uncollectible.
So we do this every year?
Yeah, every year, there's a certain amount of taxes that are deemed uncollectible by the town, and then it'll send us, this is a whole list of everybody that didn't pay their taxes and why,
They're not liable for it at all?
No.
if you can't find them.
It's essentially uncollectible within a reasonable period of time.
Most of the people have moved.
And it's still owed if somebody buys the property or something like that, but you can't count on getting it anytime soon, and that's getting much bigger.
Yeah. No, that's what I was gonna say. Jamie, is that at 2%? I mean, when we do a budget projection, we usually figure 98% collection rate. Is that a bigger number than the 2% we figured?
No,
Those are prior year, aren't they?
yes, these are prior
From
years.
prior years.
Yeah, but I'm just curious if we should be figuring our budget on a 97 or a 96% tax rate.
We want to move it to 214.
Have a second on that, please?
Second.
All those in favor?
Can I just ask,
Oh,
I'm sorry, can I just ask a question? Yeah, I do know what it is, and I used to deal with it. So what you're doing is you're gonna roll it over to the 2014 budget as opposed to, okay, I just wanted to be clear on that.
You have a second on that, correct?
Yes, Randy seconded.
Do I have, all those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion is passed. Fourth item of new business is the authorization to paying the monthly bills.
I guess I have to move it for us to talk about.
Yes.
I move the authorization of paying of monthly bills.
Here a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Discussion.
Oh,
Discussion.
discussion. I'm sorry.
Because we don't have a budget yet, this is why the chief has asked that he is given authorization to pay the bills as they come in. My concern is, I'm looking at the bills that came in so far, and one of them is for $428,000, so I don't know if we should get our act in gear and hurry up and get the budgets, so we don't just give authorization, pay $500 to $1,000 check bills.
Jamie, what do you, I'm sorry, Nancy, what are you looking at?
There is a pile of bills here that we
we
haven't
don't
approved.
have that?
No.
You have the-
Bills for the month of June that we are paying in July.
And that figure is accepted into the record?
Yep.
Okay. Do I entertain a motion to go into executive session?
Mr. Ackley?
Yes.
Go to the department?
Yes.
Budget that we can present to those interested parties, taxpayers, that represents what the reality is right now, which is 3.5 million. We can't go anywhere until we've at least done the 3.5 million budget and figured out how we're going to spend the money, where it's going to get us. But once we've done that, we would very much like to sit down and talk with the firefighters and let them know where we're going with the budget and what the options are as far as extending the budget if we need to or whatever. So that's the first priority, is Monday night, just to sit down and hammer out the 3.5 million, and then we'd like to sit down and talk, and then we need to take it from there. So we're sort of you know, the only thing we can do at this point is figure out the 3.5 million and then go from there.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Do I have a second? I'm going to second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And this meeting is adjourned at 9:00.